What's up, everybody? It is Brian Myers, aka WWE Superstar Curt Hawkins, and I'm back here with another exclusive Major Wrestling Figure Podcast unboxing video. Today, we're going to dive deep into Bash of the Brawlers, Mike Awesome, and Bash of the Brawlers, Steve Corino. Two of my absolute favorite figs of all time. Two figures that are kind of getting a little tougher to find. Like I said in a previous video, these ECW figures are basically like 20 years old. It's crazy. They came out in 1999. These ones, actually, this Bash of the Brawler says about 2000. Either way, to me, they're timeless and very cool. Mike Awesome. Let's start with him. Mike Awesome was ECW champ. He comes with a repainted version of the title, a much better version. It's the only way in this series to get the belt with all the detail like that. It came with Taz previously and a couple of figures, but it didn't have nearly as much detail. You know, this little paint deco additions to it. They're very cool. Funny thing, the back of this box always kind of was crazy. I mean, this ring set, I believe, was Toys R Us exclusive. Came with an exclusive Sabu and RVD, the cage, ton of accessories. It was kind of a refurbished WCW ring, because if you recall, San Francisco Toymakers made WCW figures before they made ECW figures, and I believe there wasn't a lot of hope or hype for these because they really didn't do such a great job with the WCW license, and then these wound up being, to me, it's completely sentimental, but some of my favorite figures of all time. But anyway, the back of the box, you can see there's this Rage War, Air Combat, Grudge Match, these 2-packs that never saw the light of day. It's pretty much the only, these prototype images is as much as we've ever seen of it. But then what I also thought was funny was the Champion Clashes set, which I sometimes refer to as Series 4. Then you have what we're opening today, Bash of the Brawlers, Series 5. And then the last and final series that we ever saw was Thrill Zone. But this was the back of the box to all of these. So you knew, when Champion Clashes dropped that all this was still to come, which was pretty exciting. Obviously, there's the very, very random repaints that make no sense. But then there's some repaints in the rest of these series that are awesome and almost like improvements on the figures. Like, to me, Thrill Zone, New Jack, Rhino, and Lance Storm are way better figures than the first releases. So just some unique stuff. I guess lastly, the difference here, Bash of the Brawlers came with trading cards. So we'll dig into those too. Here we go. Whoa. So old, it just fell off the bubble there. Some yellowing, as you can see. See the difference there. It just happens to these ECW figures and old figures in general. Really awesome insert. Part of the packaging, that cartoon of how to do the left bang, which I never understood, but why I couldn't call it a punch or an uppercut. But there's the left bang from Mike Awesome. This figure, compared to the rest of the line, I just always thought was tremendous. When I was a kid playing with these, probably way too old to be playing with them, but he's great to play with. He's big, just like Mike Awesome was. He's a little bit bigger than all the other ones. Obviously, like we touched on, this belt was a huge improvement from the first release. As you can see, it's got all that paint deco on it that the old one didn't have, which was cool. I love Mike Awesome as ECW champ. It was fun matches, believable matches, a big dominant run he had. So at the time, I was a big fan of his. Here are the cards. Let's see. We got old Nova, Mike Bucci. It's one of my former bosses, believe that or not. They have little buyout cards in the back, so they are trading cards. I mean, they're a strange cardboard, a more cheap cardboard than, like a baseball card you would think of, but it's still pretty cool. Here's Sabu, New Jack, another one of my bosses, good friend, kayfabe listener of the podcast, Tommy Dreamer. And look, Mike Awesome himself, Tampa, Florida, 6'6", 292 pounds. Pretty cool. A little bio in the back. I didn't just make that up. So yeah, 5 cards in each figure. Makes the set. If you get all 8, there is like a set to it. I've seen that go for not a lot of money, but people want it on eBay. All right, Mike, step aside. Maybe we'll keep you in the shot there. That looks cool. Oh, sorry. And what would Mike Awesome be without a steel chair? I mean, he pretty much made his name hitting people with these things and being hit with them. So that makes perfect sense to me. All right, the king of old school, Steve Corino. Probably in 2000. I don't know if he's my favorite wrestler, but he's for sure my favorite wrestler in ECW. He was pretty much like an underdog type character in the show that got, made his way and got this huge push all the way to the world title, and it was really fun. I always found him very entertaining, especially in this. The king of old school was up against all these hardcore guys. I just thought it was a great act for ECW. Here we go. Same thing. So old it just flies off. Here's his insert. This is something you got to give Mattel their due that they would never let happen. It's crazy that the figure is updated with blonde hair, which he had at the time and kind of the rest of his career. But the photo, which you think would be an easy fix, has the dark hair. And there's a lot of old Jax guys that are like that. It's an updated guy physically, but then the photo's like so old. So there's almost, to me, there's like no excuse for that, but I don't know what the process was back in the day. Maybe it was harder to make these kind of switches. I don't know. But I always found that kind of funny. Him too, he features not a left bang, but a double bang. Ooh, okay. Some of these ECW guys, sometimes, see, whatever reason, I just opened that and it already, I don't know if whatever's inside deteriorates or something. I don't know. But I've seen this happen a few times. See, he's dead. That's funny. I can raise the arms and the lever kind of goes, but the feature doesn't really work too much. Not that it really matters. I don't think you need it, and especially on display. This still looks great. This is another figure I thought it was pretty fun to play with. His arms are in kind of a strange position, but you can still make it do its thing. Have fun with him. That was pretty cool to have as a kid. He comes a crutch and a cast, which I for sure used my storylines for guys. Yoshihiro Tajiri, Japanese buzzsaw. Again, Tommy Dreamer with a different photo. New Jack with a different photo. There he is. What about Raven? And then the man himself, Steve Corino. Sea Isle City, New Jersey, 6'1", 202. Pretty cool. I love this figure. I always thought it was timeless. I loved his feud with Dusty and all that. So there you have it. Two of my all-time favorite figures from my all-time favorite series, EC Dub.
1, 2, 3. I'll be back, Jack.
These vintage wrestling figures were purchased at the Wrestling Universe, 3429 Francis Lewis Boulevard, Flushing, New York.